Because yeah, you still do have quite a bit of nail there.
Okay.
And I do think that under in this cuticle area there is still some.
Okay.
That's not exposed, but yeah. So I'm gonna say we have hope. It's looking pretty good. The nail bed is still like nice and pink.
Okay.
So that's good news. It probably more than likely literally lifted and like
literally
snapped right off. I mean, I could pretty much see.
That's what happened. Because like I want to say like after it had like after it felt weird.
Yeah.
So the 2 weeks or whatever that it came off, like the shit just snapped off.
What's up, pretty gang? It's your favorite nail tech Peaches back with another video, and today I am coming to show you guys why foreign removals are so important, why removals period are important. This was a new client that came to me, and unfortunately she incurred damage as a result of a previous nail tech. So I'm not gonna hold y'all. I knew that she was gonna need a reconstruction, but upon talking to her and asking her like what's going on, she basically let me know that she had these toenails done, these acrylic toes done previously, and at a certain point it was time for her to get a fill after 4 weeks. And then when she was going to get another fill, she told the nail tech, hey, I'm feeling some looseness, I don't know. And the nail tech told her, well, you got a toenail. And when the client asked her like, can you please remove the acrylic so that way I can, you know, see what's going on, the nail tech was like, well, you still have a toenail, so there's no need. And within a week or two, her whole toenail pretty much snapped the freak off. Now, I know what you're thinking, Peaches, why would anybody do acrylic toes this long? And I'm going to tell you, you would be surprised how many people are getting acrylic toes and going to places where the people are refusing to trim or remove the acrylic or simply file down the toenails when it's time. Okay, so obviously, as I'm removing this product, I'm wondering, okay, what's going to be under that big toe right there? So what you guys missed is that I did inspect that big toe, looked underneath, just to try and see like how much is it attached? Am I seeing anything or feeling anything unusual before I remove it? Which I did not. I did determine that the product that was used is probably not that bad. You know, when you file MMA or bad product, it typically flakes weirdly or it has a smell to it, you know, different things like that. So at the very least, the previous nail tech had the decency to use EMA, okay? Now, the kicker was that this particular client had no idea that unfortunately the injury was not her fault. So as the toenails are soaking, I'm pretty much inspecting this toenail, I'm touching it, I'm asking her if there's any pain, and I pretty much told her, you know, there probably isn't any pain, and the reason before that is because the pain already happened weeks ago. So I'm pretty much educating her and letting her know that, do I think you're a good candidate for reconstruction? You know, I'm looking at all the nooks and crannies and trying to see what is nail bed, what is nail plate, what do we have to work with? So I pretty much determined that in this process, what I'm gonna do is reconstruct that toenail, and then I'm gonna go ahead and have her come back in 4 weeks for another removal so I can see if there's gonna be any growth. Is the new growth pushing off any old growth? You know, those are things that I can see just by looking at her. So basically what I'm looking for is to try and see any previous damage. I already was suspicious because in that bottom left corner where my cuticle pusher is kind of at, I felt like I saw some discoloration. And after the acrylic was off, I still was like, is this the acrylic or is this color of their toenail? I said, okay. I told her, you know, I'm seeing some unevenness in the texture of your nail, okay, in the thickness of your nail. It's honestly kind of as if you injured yourself, but in the cuticle. And I was telling her, your toenails being this long, which they were long when I did the removal, okay, it basically all the weight of the acrylic on the natural nail, any bumping, anything, that is trauma every single time at this length. And unfortunately, when you hit a nail that's very long, very overgrown, and has product on it, you're actually hurting the bottom of your nail where it grows at rather than the top. So this is me pretty much just talking to her. I'm showing her like, girl, look how long your toenails were. She got her toenails done, right? 5 weeks later, she got a fill, which is appropriate. But then in another 5 weeks, basically what happened is that, you know, she felt like she injured herself. The nail tech told her, well, you have a toenail, you're fine, did the fill anyways. And then about 6 weeks after that, here she is now. This is about 16 to 18 weeks of growth because, you know, I could be off by a week or two. You guys, this is absolutely insane. By no means should any nail tech ignore your request to move acrylic, but let them grow this long. I'm going to play a snippet for you guys really quickly as well.
Actually, is this discoloration over here? Oh, I'm trying to see if that's just, you know, natural toenail stuff or But on this side, I don't know, I feel like it's like a little pocket. You can see I can fit the cuticle pusher under here, but like not that far on that side.
I see.
Per se.
So I basically explained to my client exactly what I'm nervous about. I did explain her options, which is, look, I'm gonna go ahead and do the reconstruction on the other toe, but what I'm not gonna do is add acrylic anywhere else. I said this big toe that I'm working on now, I'm a little bit nervous because I feel like there is some possible damage that we will not see the full consequences until it's too late. I said this is, at least we can kind of ride it out and see how it goes, because unfortunately the damage that you incur is never seen in the moment. It always has consequences later on down the line. Just like this big toe, okay? The damage was done early on, but the consequences of not preventing any further damage was astronomical. So she's gonna come back in 4 weeks. I'm gonna remove the enhancement and I'm gonna check and see, is there growth? Because as I told her, I said, I'm pretty sure your toenail is gonna grow back. It looks in good condition. Unfortunately, it's just gonna take a while. It's gonna take some time. So in the meantime, we're gonna pretty much take care of her natural toenails, do the reconstruction, and see if we can move forward that way. Again, I'm only doing 4 weeks because it is best that I check on her toenail accordingly. You guys, I'm not gonna lie. I told her this is something that you can report the nail tech for. This is pretty much the damage she was left with on the other toenail. I'm not confident that this toenail is in good condition to do acrylic at all, but I did tell her, if you know this is damage that could have been prevented, and you did let the nail tech know that not only did you have pain, you felt a looseness and wiggling, but your toenail came off. You know what I'm saying? So look, I'm not saying you have to stitch if you don't want to, but just know that there are ways to deal with this and finding techs that are good for you. This is the final result. I really hope you guys enjoyed this type of video. I know I didn't show my process of doing the acrylics, but you guys remember, health over aesthetics every single time. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.